Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a controversial topic that's got everyone talking: Meta's renewed interest in facial recognition technology. Remember when Meta, then Facebook, ditched facial recognition back in 2021 after a massive public outcry? Well, it seems like they're having second thoughts. Are we about to enter a new era of surveillance capitalism, or is this a necessary step towards truly smart, personalized devices? Let's unpack this, because the implications are huge and, frankly, a bit scary. Stick around, because we're going to explore the facts, the fears, and what this all means for you. And I've got some exclusive insights that you won't hear anywhere else. All right, let's get down to business. The news is this: Meta is reportedly working on bringing facial recognition back, specifically for its smart glasses and potentially even future AI-enabled earbuds. The technology, internally dubbed super sensing, would allow the glasses to scan faces and identify people in real time. Think about that for a second. Picture yourself walking down the street, and someone wearing these glasses instantly knows your name and potentially more about you. This is happening just a few short years after Meta publicly swore off facial recognition following widespread criticism of its Facebook facial recognition system, which automatically tagged people in photos and videos. They even claimed to have deleted over 1 billion pieces of facial recognition data. So what changed? Why the sudden U-turn? Well, that's what we're here to find out. We need to understand what's driving this decision and what it means for our privacy. And I'm going to show you something that may shock you. Meta might have never actually deleted all that data. Let's dig a little deeper into this super sensing technology. According to reports, it's built on a feature called Live AI in the smart glasses. The idea is to provide users with real-time information about their surroundings, including identifying people. The current limitation is battery life. The AI function only works for about 30 minutes. However, a new model slated for 2026 is expected to operate for several hours. Now, let's talk about the tech behind this. We're likely looking at a combination of convolutional neural networks, CNNs, for image processing and facial feature extraction, coupled with sophisticated algorithms for matching those features against a database. This is similar to the technology described in the paper Deepface, closing the gap to human-level performance in face verification. Tegman et al., 2014. The key here is the scale and accuracy. Meta has access to vast amounts of data, which allows them to train these models to be incredibly precise. Furthermore, they are likely using techniques like transfer learning to adapt pre-trained models to the specific hardware and constraints of their smart glasses. We are also likely looking at edge computing, where some of the processing is done directly on the device instead of relying solely on cloud processing. This is necessary to reduce latency and improve the real-time performance of the facial recognition system. Finally, the system will likely use a type of Siamese neural network architecture, which are especially useful for face recognition tasks because they are trained to compare two inputs and determine how similar they are. This is crucial for identifying faces even under varying lighting conditions or angles. But here's the kicker. Even with all this advanced technology, the accuracy of facial recognition systems can still be affected by factors like lighting, pose, and occlusion. This means that there's always a chance of misidentification, which could have serious consequences. Are we willing to accept those risks for the sake of convenience? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. And the real kicker here is that this technology is not foolproof and can be biased and inaccurate, especially on people of color. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: privacy. Meta claims that super sensing won't be enabled by default and that users will have to opt in manually. But is that enough? The ability to scan faces and register names, even with consent, raises serious ethical questions. Think about the potential for misuse. What if someone uses these glasses to stalk or harass others? What if the data is hacked or leaked? And what about the chilling effect on free speech? Will people be less likely to express themselves freely if they know they're being constantly monitored? Meta's track record on privacy isn't exactly stellar. They've been fined billions of dollars for privacy violations, and they've repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to prioritize profits over user safety. So, why should we trust them now? The information also reported that Meta is reconsidering whether the LED indicator light, which signals when the glasses are recording, is appropriate. This is incredibly concerning, as it suggests that Meta may be considering ways to make it easier to secretly record people. This is a huge red flag, and it should make everyone question Meta's motives. Are they genuinely committed to protecting our privacy, or are they simply trying to find new ways to collect and monetize our data? We need to hold them accountable and demand transparency, and we need to do it now before it's too late. This isn't just about privacy, it's about power and control. Let's consider the ethical implications from different perspectives. On one hand, proponents argue that facial recognition can enhance convenience and personalization. Imagine walking into a store and being greeted by name, or having your smart glasses automatically provide information about the people you meet. This could create more engaging and efficient social interactions. Furthermore, some argue that facial recognition can improve safety and security. It could be used to identify criminals, prevent terrorist attacks, and find missing persons. However, critics argue that facial recognition is inherently invasive and violates our fundamental right to privacy. They point out that it can be used to track our movements, monitor our behavior, and build detailed profiles of our lives. This could lead to discrimination, bias, and a loss of autonomy. The key question is, how do we balance the potential benefits of facial recognition with the risks to our privacy and civil liberties? One potential solution is to implement strict regulations and oversight. We could require companies to obtain explicit consent before collecting and using facial recognition data. We could also establish independent oversight bodies to monitor compliance and investigate complaints. Another approach is to develop alternative technologies that are less invasive and more privacy-preserving. For example, we could use anonymized data or differential privacy techniques to protect individual identities while still extracting useful information. But let's be honest, are these solutions really enough? Can we truly trust companies like Meta to act in our best interests? Or do we need to take a more radical approach and ban facial recognition altogether? The answer is complex and depends on our values and priorities. But one thing is clear. We need to have a serious and informed conversation about the ethical implications of facial recognition before it's too late. It's important to note that the regulatory landscape for facial recognition is constantly evolving. The EU, South Korea, and some states in the US have already implemented restrictions on the use of facial recognition technology. The EU's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, places strict limits on the processing of personal data, including facial recognition data. This means that Meta may face significant challenges in deploying supersensing in Europe. Similarly, South Korea's Personal Information Protection Act, PIPA, requires companies to obtain explicit consent before collecting and using facial recognition data. And in the US, several states, including Illinois, California, and Washington, have enacted laws that regulate the use of facial recognition technology. However, the overall regulatory framework is still fragmented and inconsistent. There's no federal law in the US that comprehensively regulates facial recognition, which creates a patchwork of different rules and standards. This makes it difficult for companies to comply with the law and for consumers to understand their rights. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has the authority to investigate and prosecute companies that engage in unfair or deceptive practices, including privacy violations. But the FTC has been criticized for being too lenient on big tech companies like Meta. Some argue that the FTC needs to be more aggressive in enforcing privacy laws and holding companies accountable for their actions. The information also reported that the FTC has been reluctant to regulate big tech since the Trump administration, which suggests that Meta may be emboldened to push the boundaries of what's legally permissible. This is a dangerous trend, and it underscores the need for stronger regulatory oversight. We need to demand that our elected officials take action to protect our privacy and ensure that companies like Meta are held accountable for their actions. This is not just about protecting our personal information. It's about safeguarding our democracy and preventing the erosion of our fundamental rights. So, what does all this mean for the future? Well, if Meta succeeds in reintroducing facial recognition, it could pave the way for a new era of personalized and augmented reality experiences. Imagine a world where your smart glasses automatically recognize your friends, provide you with information about your surroundings, and even translate foreign languages in real time. This could revolutionize the way we interact with the world and with each other. However, it could also lead to a dystopian future where we're constantly being monitored and analyzed. Our every move could be tracked, our thoughts and feelings could be predicted, and our behavior could be manipulated. The key is to find a balance between innovation and privacy. We need to develop technologies that enhance our lives without sacrificing our fundamental rights. We also need to be vigilant and proactive in protecting our privacy. We need to educate ourselves about the risks and benefits of facial recognition, and we need to demand transparency and accountability from companies like Meta. The future of facial recognition is not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it in a way that reflects our values and priorities. So what do you think? Are you excited about the potential of facial recognition, or are you concerned about the privacy implications? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the latest tech trends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. But seriously, let me know what you think. This is a conversation we all need to be having. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope this video has given you a better understanding of Meta's renewed interest in facial recognition and the potential implications for our privacy. Remember, this is a complex issue with no easy answers. It's up to us to stay informed, engage in the debate, and demand accountability from companies like Meta. So what can you do? First, educate yourself. Read articles, watch videos, and learn about the risks and benefits of facial recognition. Second, contact your elected officials. Let them know that you care about privacy and that you want them to take action to protect our rights. Third, be mindful of the data you share online. The more information you give away, the easier it is for companies to track and analyze you. And finally, support organizations that are fighting for privacy rights. There are many groups working to protect our digital freedoms, and they need our support. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that the future of facial recognition is one that respects our privacy and protects our civil liberties. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. And be sure to share this video with your friends and family so they can stay informed too. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and stay vigilant.